As we head into the 2017-2018 NCAA Division I FBS schedule, let's not forget about the pageantry and tradition of college football. And what better place to start than our friendly neighbors in the Southeast, a dominating machine of football mastery. Well, some of the squads. Anyways, we're about to dissect every team's logo, and keep in mind, this is not a serious critique. So if you're looking for an art class style breakdown, please, by all means, attend art class. For those who have seen this series before, you know the deal. Bust out your tailgates and your grills. It's time to roast some logos. Before I get into this critique, I want to thank SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek is a mobile app that aggregates tickets from all over the web and makes buying tickets to sporting events and concerts really easy. SeatGeek puts a score of 1 to 100 on each ticket and lets you know if you're getting a good deal or not, green being good and red being bad. Even better than that, you can see the seats from where you're going to sit before you even walk in the joint. I travel a lot and I love having the SeatGeek app so I can see what teams are in town and buy my tickets in a safe and secure platform and not have to meet some shady guy from Craigslist in a parking lot. It's all done on my phone and 100% legit. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Download the SeatGeek app and click the Me tab and enter the code FPG, that's code Foxtrot Papa Golf, and receive $20 back on your first order. We're gonna start with the Arkansas Razorbacks, obviously a very mean looking pig, ready to charge and destroy its way to mediocrity. Some of you don't know that the team was named the Arkansas Cardinals until 1910 when coach Hugo Bezdak asked his squad to play like a wild band of Razorback hogs, and the name stuck. I like the look of the logo as it is now, and it seems to have progressed from caveman style art of the 1930s to the mean-looking, sleek, fat pig that it is today, which is fitting considering Arkansas has been great at hiring pigs as their coach. Here come the savage comments. Here's what I think is the coolest name in sports because it's a complete disambiguation of the school's actual name, and really, there are no F's given about it. The official name of the school is the University of Mississippi. However, the term Ole Miss first surfaced in 1897. On a tangent, when I hear the name Ole Miss, all I can think of is a granny trying to look really young. Anyways, the name and the colloquial and intentionally misspelled terminology has been official since 1970 when the school unveiled this logo. Now, who doesn't look at this guy and imagine he talks like Foghorn Leghorn? I say, boy, find another Manning to come to my school and make us relevant again. I could continue on this Colonel Sanders looking dude, but I won't. However, it's the first logo I have ever seen that the primary character has a cane in it. The current logo is nice, but it can be misread as Ole Miss. Now it's Tiger time. Three SEC schools have tigers as their mascot. We'll start with the new kid on the block, the Missouri Tigers, who joined the SEC in 2012. Now, just like Ole Miss, Missouri will go by their intentionally misspelled nickname of Mizzou officially sometimes. Now, the Tiger name actually comes from a band of Civil War armed guards called the Fighting Tigers, not from the Siegfried eating animal. Or was it Roy that the tiger ate? The school has had only 2 primary logos, and this current one is pretty badass. The tiger fur subtly suggests an M in various places and is also way more intimidating than this Yogi Bear looking mascot logo. So the LSU Tigers, like Mizzou's name, is derived from Civil War outfits that assembled in the country. Now look, I'd have a lot to say about LSU given that many amazing athletes have come from their school. However, I'm about to throw their art curriculum under the bus. Here is a parade of cringeworthy, poorly illustrated examples of tigers the team has used throughout their history. I particularly like this one that clearly has rabies, and of course, Sauron goes purple and yellow. The last of the tigers actually get their name from a line in an Oliver Goldschmidt poem. But really, the tigers are known for their battle cry, War Eagle, which can confuse people as to why they're not called the Eagles versus the Tigers, but here is your history lesson. It actually started in 1892 when a Civil War vet would bring a pet eagle he found on the battlefield to a game. Allegedly, the eagle broke free and began to soar around the stadium, and the Tigers on the field began a touchdown drive, and the fans really got behind this eagle as the term War Eagle was born. Then at the end of the game, the eagle took a sudden bank turn and crashed into the ground and died. I am not making this up. That must have been mad awkward, but that's the story, and the battle cry has stood ever since. Anyways, I like the standard AU logo. Looks great on the side of the helmet when this is happening.
Let's it go.
Okay, another sort of newcomer to the league, the Texas A&M Aggies. Now this logo is very simple, but I read it left to right, so I see ATM, which is another way to write A2M. Don't Google that. Do want to take a look at the logo they used from 1972 to 1980. Holy shit, just looking at this logo, I had to drop and give 20. Maybe if this dude was around, Johnny Football wouldn't be such a fuck up. Private Manziel, you sorry excuse for a quarterback. What is your major malfunction? Sir, the Browns drafted me, sir. Well, shit. So let's knock the two schools from Kentucky out in one set. We can start with UK, and if it wasn't for basketball, none of you would even know this team was in the SEC. The name Wildcats was adopted in 1909, and the logo, besides a few cringeworthy cat illustrations, has remained pretty much the same. Only other notable thing about the Wildcats is occasionally Ashley Judd shows up to a game. On to Vanderbilt, which is an interesting situation. Cornelius Vanderbilt, a man who made his money in the shipping industry, but was from New York, gave the money to start the school even though he had never even been to the South. And to make them seem a bit more stuffier, they are named the Commodores. I can just imagine some stiff people from the Northeast playing competitive sports. Why, I fancy this game. What do you call it? Basketball. Yes, what a fine sport. Well, back to law school, boys. Cheerio. The logo is nice, though. It symbolizes chronic failure in SEC football. Let's go with two rivals now. First, we have the Georgia Bulldogs. I wish I had something mind-blowing to share with you on this logo. However, it hasn't changed one iota since 1964. And that kind of describes some parts of the South. And now the Florida Gators logo, obviously it's a gator. When you look closely at this logo, it's pretty clear that if you take certain key elements of the logo itself, it forms a shield that does not allow you to criticize Tim Tebow in any shape or form. So I chose these two teams together as one critique because these two gather every year in Jacksonville and get absolutely hammered in public. You can see the pics for yourself. And though this didn't happen in the Florida-Georgia game, sometimes you do wonder if UF players are drunk on the field too. The UT Knoxville Volunteers get their name from the fact that Tennessee is indeed the volunteer state, one which donated many militia to fight in our conflict starting in 1812. The T is pretty simple, hasn't really changed, but they did try to do this dog thing with some alternative logos since 2005, which pretty much describes how they've played football since then. Mississippi State, the other Bulldogs in the conference, MSU, features exactly one color in their logo. They haven't really pushed the envelope here except for this Bulldog trying to hump the M in this alternative logo. Of course, MSU gave us America's favorite QB, Dak Prescott, who himself couldn't get the team over the hump. Now on to my favorite name out of all the SEC teams, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Can I even say that without violating YouTube's terms of service? Gamecocks. I can say it all day. I mean, it's printed on all of their materials. Now let's read the Wikipedia page on how this team got their unusual name. This unique moniker is held in honor of Thomas Sumter, a Revolutionary War hero from South Carolina, who was nicknamed the Carolina Gamecock. After British General Banastre Tarleton said Sumter fought like a gamecock. While the men's teams were traditionally known as the Fighting Gamecock and the women's teams were previously known as the Lady Gamecocks, this distinction was discontinued in part to eliminate any gender bias in the athletic department and in part to counter misconceptions about the Gamecock mascot endorsing blood sport. So, according to this, they are no longer known as the Lady Gamecocks. Looks like they stopped strapping on that first part. So the Cocks have been in the SEC for a while now, providing somewhat stiff competition over the years. It does seem like they tend to shrivel up in big games. Another interesting fact about the Cocks is they have played in the same stadium, Columbia Municipal, since 1934. I wonder when they're going to erect a new one. Anyways, the logo is surprisingly unphallic, though of course a little editing brings it up to speed. Finally, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. They have the same A from the Oakland Athletics in the center of a circle. It's very clean, no secrets, and they have Nick Saban, which is worth every damn penny of whatever they pay him. I'll get back to that. First, let's start with the name, the Crimson Tide, which is a great euphemism for that time of the month. It was first used in 1906 when in the Iron Bowl, the mud of the field turned the Alabama players' jerseys red. Now, for the elephant, that came along in the 30s. One story has it coming from either a luggage company or from a story in the newspaper where the rumble from the crowd sounded like a stampede. There really aren't many elephants in Alabama. But there is Nick Saban. The thing I like about Nick Saban the most is how mad he gets when things don't go his way, which, let's be honest here, doesn't happen often. But let's take a look at a compilation of pissed off Saban.
Is it alive? It's alive. It's okay. Those are the cameras they put in
that. Damn it! It's cut!
Going after Brown. Entering a return. Illegal blocking.
Bama, only a matter of time before he leaves you for Texas. Enjoy it while it lasts. And don't forget about this.
25-30, 35-40, 45-50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. I'm 5 Points Vids. And don't forget to download the SeatGeek app and enter the code FPG in the MA screen and get $20 back on your first order. And you made it to the end of this video.